Was Pablo Picasso just an artist? Or an undercover agent? He painted Guernica, lived in Nazi-occupied Paris, joined the Communist Party, and had the FBI watching his every move. Coincidence? Or was the world's most famous painter hiding more than just brushstrokes? Let's unravel the myth, the mystery, and the messy truth. Was Picasso a spy? The answer might surprise you. The spy theory. Why it even exists. The idea that Pablo Picasso was a spy doesn't stem from one bombshell revelation. Instead, it's the result of a web of coincidence, politics, paranoia, and a few eyebrow-raising acquaintances. During World War II, Picasso famously lived in German-occupied Paris. He didn't flee. He didn't hide. He continued to paint, and that, in itself, was a form of resistance. He was frequently harassed by the Gestapo, especially over works like Guernica, which condemned the bombing of civilians during the Spanish Civil War. Later, in 1944, Picasso joined the French Communist Party. For some, especially in the West, that was enough to trigger suspicion. In the Cold War years that followed, simply being a known communist made you a person of interest. The FBI, never one to ignore a potentially subversive celebrity, began keeping tabs on him. They referenced his post-war article titled, "Why I Became a Communist," and noted that Picasso's influence on public opinion might represent a soft power risk to U.S. interests. Despite this, there is no documented evidence, no memos, no testimonies, no declassified dossiers that proves Picasso ever acted as an intelligence agent or passed on state secrets. He painted, he attended party meetings, he made symbolic statements with his art. That's the extent of his covert activities. The art dealer, who really was a spy. Here's where it gets tricky. There actually was a spy in Picasso's social orbit, Thomas Harris. Harris was a British art dealer who worked undercover for MI5 during World War II. He was instrumental in the double-cross operation, which turned captured German spies into British double agents and played a critical role in misleading Hitler about the D-Day invasion. Harris was deeply embedded in both the art world and espionage. His proximity to Picasso has fueled confusion over the years. But let's be very clear. Thomas Harris was a legitimate spy. Picasso was not. The association is fascinating, yes, but it's like saying you're a secret agent because you once played poker with James Bond. Harris's double life has led some to speculate that Picasso might have dabbled in espionage too. But there's no evidence to support that leap. Surveillance doesn't equal spycraft. The fact that Picasso was watched by Western intelligence services doesn't mean he was involved with any intelligence agency. In fact, the attention he received was entirely one-sided. The FBI and CIA kept files on Picasso because he was famous, politically active, and had a huge cultural influence. Their interest in him was rooted in paranoia about communist infiltration, not evidence of espionage. Documents now publicly available from U.S. archives reveal a strange obsession with Picasso's political beliefs. A 1949 FBI memo, for instance, cautioned that any information regarding Picasso's travel or activity may be of interest, especially if he planned to visit the United States. There's no sign that they ever found anything incriminating, because there was nothing to find. The real art spy hero. If you're looking for real espionage in the art world during Picasso's lifetime, you won't find it in his biography, but you will find it in the story of Rose Valland. Valland was a French art historian and curator at the Jeux de Paume Museum in Paris during the Nazi occupation. Unbeknownst to her German overseers, she was also a secret resistance agent. Valland risked her life to document the systematic looting of artworks, including pieces by Picasso, by the Nazis. Her meticulous records allowed Allied forces to recover and return thousands of stolen masterpieces after the war. She worked in silence, pretending to be a harmless museum employee, while transmitting information about art convoys to the resistance. Picasso, meanwhile, remained in Paris, painting dark, contorted figures in the privacy of his studio. Rose Valland's life reads like a spy thriller. Picasso's, by comparison, reads more like a tortured artist's memoir. While he was certainly affected by the war, his art became darker, more abstract, more desperate. He was never part of the organized resistance. He certainly never served as a secret agent. Why people want Picasso to be a spy? It's not hard to see why the myth has persisted. The image of an artist spy is irresistible. There's something thrilling about imagining that Guernica is more than a protest painting, that it's a coded message to foreign operatives. Add in Cold War anxiety, the romance of Bohemian Paris, and the FBI's obsession with communists, and it's a recipe for conspiracy theories. There's also the simple fact that Picasso was a genius. People assume genius extends across domains. If he could change the course of modern art, why not the course of international politics? But genius in painting doesn't imply covert expertise in espionage. Not everyone with a radical streak and a sharp mind is secretly working for a foreign government. And of course, we must blame a little on pop culture. Movies and novels have often blended artistic brilliance with espionage. It's far easier to fictionalize Picasso into a thrilling Cold War narrative than to accept the quieter, more complicated truth of an artist who loved politics, but never crossed into the shadows of covert action. What modern research really tells us. Today, we know more than ever about Picasso's life, thanks to the release of new documents, high-tech art analysis, and ongoing historical work. Recent discoveries from 2020 to 2025 have revealed hidden artworks beneath some of Picasso's most famous Blue Period paintings, such as the Blue Room and portrait of Mateo Fernandez de Soto. Using X-ray fluorescence and infrared imaging, scientists uncovered completely different portraits underneath the paint, shedding light on how Picasso's creative process evolved over time. These discoveries are genuinely thrilling, but they're artistic, not conspiratorial. There are no secret codes embedded in the brushstrokes. These hidden images reflect financial hardship, reusing canvases, not hidden agendas. It's a window into the young artist's desperation and experimentation, not into espionage. Likewise, modern art historians and intelligence scholars who've studied Picasso's life, including newly released archives, have found no credible evidence of any espionage activities. Instead, they found a man under scrutiny, but not on a mission. Was Picasso a spy? To answer the question definitively, and based on the most current research and sources as of 2025, no, Picasso was not a spy. He was a politically engaged artist who made bold public statements through his work and aligned himself with communist ideology during an era of intense polarization. These facts made him suspicious to Western agencies and created fertile ground for speculation. But speculation is not fact. Picasso was watched. He was questioned. He was even feared in some circles. But he was never recruited, never briefed, and never carried out secret missions for any government. He lived loudly through his canvas, not quietly, through secret channels. The truth is better than the myth. If anything, the truth about Picasso is more interesting than the spy fantasy. He challenged authoritarianism not through bullets and back doors, but through brushstrokes. His works weren't ciphers. They were calls to conscience. Guernica didn't hide a code. It was the message, raw, bold, and unmissable. And while Picasso wasn't the art world's James Bond, others, like Rose Valland, very much were. If you're fascinated by spies, don't look to Picasso. Look to the woman who saved his work from Hitler's regime while risking her life behind enemy lines. And that's a wrap on the mystery of Pablo Picasso. Spy or just spicy? If you enjoyed peeling back the layers of this colorful conspiracy, give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Until next time, keep your palettes messy and your theories wild. Peace, paint, and no espionage.